The important thing to contextualize this story is that I was full of life. I was full of a burning desire to change the world. The flaws in how we interact seemed obvious to me. I believed in people's power to change the unnecessary suffering we inflict upon ourselves. I was also enamored with music. Music is the closest thing to God that I have. It's a gateway to the unexplainable, and it's a way of communicating the inexpressible. There's just one moment that I want to share with you from the years before I got sick. I was 17 and I felt indestructible. I'm not sure why, but my whole life I had this feeling inside myself that I was meant to do something important, not for myself, not for praise, not for personal gain, but something that would change the world for the better. It's hard to describe it without coming across like an egomaniac or having some sort of God complex, but I felt like I had some sort of divine purpose. And I remember feeling this so strongly that one afternoon after school, I stood in the center of my bedroom and I spoke loud into an empty void. I said that I would single-handedly take on and defeat the forces of evil, and I welcomed them to try their best. Throughout the years, that memory stuck with me, taunting me some.
Do you recognize that lyric? It's from Hi Rin, which was our first introduction to Rin. Remember when he said he shouted out into the void? Somebody has joined us, so let's say hello. Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Kelly. Thank you for joining us.
It's okay that you're late. We're glad that you're here with us. We're kind of just getting started, so you haven't missed too much. Any thoughts so far?
Yeah. How do I even unpack this? You know, he said so much and it was very powerful. And one moment I felt like my spirit inside kind of giggle. And when I say giggle, because it resonated. I know what it's like to want to hold on to that only part of you that you don't want to share with the world. But at the same time, Bonnie, some people are just destined to know that they have a gift. You know, my aunt once told me, you never know when God's going to call you. You know, people just don't choose to do the things that they do. It's something that they're divinely, what's the word I'm looking for? Divinely pathed to. So yeah, I can relate to a lot. How about yourself?
Yeah. I feel like that's, I think some of us are created more so for that than others, but I know like a big part of my healing process and our healing process is like to be able to share what we've gone through, not in the sense of like being a victim or to like go through this stuff, because it does take a lot of emotional labor and it's hard to go back to some of those things. It can be traumatic. It can bring up all these sorts of different feelings. However, when we're able to talk about these things and people are able to take something positive from it, then that can kind of turn in that negative thing into a positive. It can make it feel like that thing that's happened to you happened for a reason.
Yeah.
Not that I don't believe that things happen to us like on purpose so that we learn something, but I do think things happen to us, and because they happen to us, they can fold in a way in which we can learn from it and like help others. You know what I mean? So I don't think that he got sick because that was his purpose.
Yeah.
I think that getting sick was part of his life, and he's been able to turn that into his purpose of being part.
Would you say it was kind of like it was a way for him to truly heal?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so.
Caterpillar coming out of a cocoon into this beautiful butterfly, because from what I'm hearing is that you got to go through the dark to get to the light. And I don't know if that's necessarily always the truth. Do you think? I mean,
I think that's often the journey. I don't know that that's the way things have to go, but you see it that way over and over. And oftentimes that's how I've experienced it. You know, in the beginning, he was talking a lot about like, this is something I really wanted to keep for me, because he does put so much out there. And I really related to that as well as like somebody who's been open about first my HIV status, and then like as a queer person, and then as a person in recovery. A big part of being in that community is our stories and our experiences, and really identifying with those aspects of ourselves at times, maybe a little more than what's ideal, but it is important, I think, at those times in our lives. And I remember as I started my transition, I was really protective of that particular experience of myself, because I didn't necessarily I just wanted to hold it closer to me. I wasn't ready to share it with other people. more than I had to, because it just happens just because people see you and they're like, oh, there's a trans person. So it's not something you can really hide in that aspect. But as far as like the, the nitty gritty stuff, that stuff is more private, and has taken me some time to begin to feel willing to like open up.
Yeah. And I love the fact that he speaks on the music, because throughout my life, I had to go inside and listen to the music to heal. And I know a lot of our viewers say that Ren has helped them through a lot of dark times. His music inspires them. And, I believe it was Carrie that said, or was it Deanna that says she likes to listen to it as she's going through, driving. Oh my God, look who the cat drug in. Hi, Carrie.
Okay. Oh, did we freeze?
You froze. I'm still popping, baby.
Do this again. I think this is where I have to shut things down on my end. So hold on, Kiki.
Okay, I want to talk to Carrie.
Yes.
Hey, Carrie, girl, where you been, girl? Happy Memorial Day. It's so good to hear from you. I'm so glad you're doing well. Yeah, so we were just discussing chapter 1 of Ren's I think there's 8 chapters here, and we're just getting into it, Carrie.